talk about something that we get asked about all the time in our groups or in our emails and our Instagram DMs, and I actually didn't realize how common it was, and that is not being able to use a tampon. I actually had no idea that there was a large group of people out there who cannot wear tampons, and it's not because they have a cultural stigma about inserting something into their bodies. It's more that they just can't. When you ask people why they can't use a tampon, a lot of times their answer is simply that it hurts or that it's uncomfortable. And then when you really drill it down, some people find that they fall out, it's drying, it's rigid, it rubs them raw, and it's just not comfortable. For most of our lives, most of us didn't know that cups existed. Some of you might just now be finding out that cups exist. And rightfully, you should be kind of pissed because it's been a secret to everyone, and cups are just frankly more comfortable than tampons. So what I did is I went into the Put a Cup in It community where we have over 13,000 members, and I looked through and searched for people talking about tampons. So giving you that perspective that these are cup users talking about why they can't use a cup and why tampons didn't work for them, that will give you some idea of where we're coming from. One of the things that came up when people said they couldn't use a tampon is that the tampon actually wasn't staying in place. So this is a tampon. It is a plastic applicator version and it looks like a super. We want to show you kind of what's going on when you are putting it in. So most of us sort of start here and we just sort of let it shoot up. But what happens for a lot of tampon users that I'm learning is that the tampon does not stay in place and it is expelled during either regular activity or during actual physical exercise, squats, or something of that nature. And these tampon users just could not find any sort of tampon that would stay in place. So if they were sneezing, if they were walking, if they were working out, the tampon was making its way out of their body. Obviously, this is not going to be an effective way of absorbing their menstrual fluid, so they needed another option. And the reason that cups stay in place more or better or in spite of the activity is that they're just worn differently. But with a cup, it's pretty easy to see that it makes this seal inside the vagina, and if it's the right cup for you, it should stay in place despite all of that movement and that muscle that you're using. Some tampon users were finding that their tampons were being expelled while they were having bowel movements or while they were even just peeing. And within our community, there were lots of people who responded that tampons would not stay put and cups did. One of the complaints that goes right along with people just saying simply that tampons hurt them and that's why they couldn't wear them is that tampons are very rigid. They're compressed cotton. And this is a regular, non-organic, what brand is this? I couldn't even tell you what brand this is. This is a regular tampon and it does not bend, it does not flex with your body. So if you put the tampon in, and especially before it makes any absorbing action happen, if you're moving around, chances are it's either rubbing or you can feel it in place, and that's one of the reasons people find them uncomfortable. And we'll go back to cups and say that as long as you find the right cup for you, you should not feel your cup while you're wearing it. That is one of the biggest things that we hear from people who switch to cups is that they find their period so much more comfortable because they don't notice the cup is inside of them. And that's because as you're moving, these silicone cups or these TPE cups just sort of move with your body. So if you're moving to the side, the cup is moving with you, and it's not rubbing and it's not pushing against anything because it's along for the ride. And then again, the silicone will warm to your body's temperature. TPE, which is the cup that's in here, actually really molds to your body even a little bit better than medical grade silicone. So you've got two options that stay with you while you move. And despite what those tampon commercials say where they're doing all these activities and moving around, some people actually find that uncomfortable with the tampon in. Not everybody, but a lot of people do. And that's why they're saying they can't use a tampon because it hurts. So we're going to take a quick little subscription break, Me and Virginia would love to have you hit that little subscribe button on our YouTube channel. That way when we make new content, you get it right away. So hit the subscribe, make sure your little alarm dingy thing is on so you get a notification, and you'll be watching our videos as soon as they come out. Thanks. So here we are at my favorite reason to switch to a cup. The dryness that tampons cause. A lot of times when people say they can't wear tampons, it's not that they physically can't, it's not that it doesn't work for them or that it causes too much pain to wear, it's just that it is just flat out uncomfortable because it's drying them out. And tampons are absorbing whatever is in your body, whether it's the menstrual blood or it's absorbing your body's natural moisture. And we have that moisture for a reason. Our bodies are creating this to clean everything out, to make us more comfortable. It's that self-cleaning oven that we all talk about, not to put things in and not to take things out. And tampons, they are made of these rayon fibers. They are absorbing everything in there. If you're having a light day and you put in a tampon, it's absorbing probably all of your moisture. And that just creates an uncomfortable environment, and enough that some people just feel the pain just from having it there. But even if they're not feeling that dryness, discomfort, or even know that that's the discomfort they're feeling, you better believe if you take out a dry tampon, you will know. I think there's some sort of bonding experience between tampon users or former tampon users when you talk about this, because it is so uncomfortable. It's like removing sandpaper. Just imagine this covered in sandpaper, just removing sandpaper out of your vagina. It's a universal experience. We've all had to remove a dry tampon, either because we just didn't have much flow that day or because we peed on the string and we decided it was uncomfortable and we took it out too early. That's why cups are so awesome. It doesn't matter if you are filling this thing with buckets every 6 hours or if this is down here when you remove your cup. It does not matter. When the cup is inside, it is neither absorbing or adding anything to your whole vaginal flora. It just sits there and collects the flow. When it's time to remove, whether it is full or not, when you remove it, it is going to be pain-free and completely comfortable. The only thing that would ever cause pain when you're removing a cup is just pulling it without breaking the seal. So again, we want to remind you, break the seal, pull it down, dump it, and you should have no pain whatsoever, whether it's spotting or regular total full buckets of blood. So now let's talk about painful insertion. When I always heard people say they can't use tampons, I actually just assumed they couldn't insert a tampon, whether it be because they feared putting something inside their vaginas at a young age, or if it was a cultural stigma, or they actually had something like vaginismus or whatever that caused them to have such pain because of the tightness of their canal or their perceived issues where they can't put something in their body. This is a good time to remind you that you can wear tampons or cups. If you're a virgin, please see the video I will link about the hymen myth. It's always important to teach people about you can use these if you're a virgin, you can use them if you're young, cups or tampons. Of course, I want to have you switch to a cup, but don't let that scare you away from using internal protection. So when you're putting in the cup, if it's a plastic applicator, it's quite smooth and it probably won't be that uncomfortable, but I do still hear people say that they can't. If you're using a cardboard applicator, which is a little more eco-friendly, not that much, it's still wrapped in plastic, but it's better. Those things hurt like a mother. They hurt just, I think they're actually worse than applicatorless tampons when I really think about it. Now, applicatorless tampons are just the tampon and you would insert digitally. A lot of our overseas readers are saying that tampons are hard to put in, and I'm inferring that they're using applicatorless tampons because that's typically what's available. In the US, if you're buying tampons, chances are they're plastic, maybe cardboard. Finding applicatorless tampons is hard in the US. But if you're using an applicatorless tampon, it's going to be dry going in. That's going to cause a lot of discomfort. If you're using a cardboard applicator, that thing just fucking hurts. And if you're using a plastic applicator and you're experiencing pain, it may not be the size of this. It may be that as it's going in, you're noticing the discomfort or it's going in the wrong angle. And with an applicator, you don't know where you're shooting it, basically. You're just kind of blindly shooting a tampon into your vagina and you don't know where it's going to land. And if it's been uncomfortable and you're using an applicator tampon, That could be one thing to consider. Or, crazy thought, switch to a menstrual cup because you know exactly where it's going. So when you put in your cup, and we have all sorts of videos about this, including one that I'll link in the video description about how to insert a cup, you're gonna fold it to make it smaller. And we really like the punch down fold because it's more narrow, it's more the size of a tampon, and you can really keep control of when it opens. And you know exactly where it's going. You're putting it in, it should be below the cervix, and that's where you want it to be. And with a tampon, it could be any which angle, causing you either pain or discomfort. Some of the people even said that they could tell that the tampon was rubbing up against their cervix, which sounds, again, like someone sandpapering your cervix. So this is a lot of talking, but I thought it was something we haven't really covered on our channel and something that we get asked a lot. I love to have videos that we can point people to when they ask this question, and we'll have a blog post along with this with some of the input that we've received from our community where people explain why that tampons didn't work for them, but cups have worked beautifully. You know, I'm totally shocked by the actual reason that people said tampons didn't work for them, because I had an assumption in my head that it was about insertion, and it was not that at all. Dryness, just general discomfort, pain. Some people even complained that whatever was in the tampon was giving them icky pain, which is a personal experience of mine, but wasn't a big enough one to cover in this video. So again, if you said you can't use tampons, or if you feel like you can't use tampons, there's a very good chance you can use a menstrual cup successfully. We want to help you do that. Make sure you take our quiz, look back on our channel for resources if you need help. So that's it for me and Virginia. We want to thank you so much for watching this video, and if you can take just a moment, make sure you leave a comment, let us know your questions. We'd also love to hear if you were one of those people who couldn't use a tampon and you switched to a cup, and give our channel a subscribe. That way you know when our content's coming at you. Thanks for being part of our community. We're uterus twins. You're going to fold it to make it smaller, more like another huge complaint. Fucking truck. Road noise, trucks. Don't they know I'm filming a tampon video? Go away.